Hi guys, Joe Miller here again. I'm back with Lee Cox at Brocket Hall and we're going to give you a few tips on how to improve your game. Easy.
Okay Joe, so you know, I've been teaching 25-30 years, taught some really good players. By far and away the best driver of ball I've ever seen. Ironically,
me by the way, that was.
Ironically, one of the worst wedge players I've ever seen. And Flight Scope's really made some interesting stuff for us in that Joe's trying to launch this driver with high launch, low spin, and almost with a wedge the reverse, low launch, high spin. So his long drive swing, which is fantastic in long irons, 3-4 and with the driver, hasn't really worked so well with the wedges. We've played many times where he can't keep the ball in the green. He's putting too much spin on the ball and actually spinning it off every time. Do you want to just tell or talk about driver spin against wedge spin for you and how your action changes slightly for the two shots?
Yeah, so like we've said, we talked about in other videos, for you know, spin with long drive, you need some spin on the ball, otherwise it basically falls out the sky. Okay, so for the long drive, we're talking about optimizing ball flight, optimizing swing speed. Launch angle, roughly for long drives, anywhere between 14 and 16 degrees launch angle. With the spin rate, we want it anywhere between sort of 1300 to maybe a maximum of 1800, depending on, do we want a bit more carry, do we want a bit more roll. So that's the sort of numbers that we're looking for long drive.
And with the driver, so just talk to us about this sort of lag you're looking to get with the driver and the arc of your hands through the ball. What are you trying to get with your driver that would be different to the wedge?
Well, everyone's always heard, you know, increase the lag for distance, right? That's one of the main things that people always ask, you know, how do you get lag? How do you improve on it? So we're basically, you know, it's basically the club, you know, the club head is trailing behind the body at this point here. That's the lag position we're trying to get into here.
But this hand arc of yours is very tight through this area, yeah?
Yeah, so we're looking at this sort of angle here. The tighter we can make this angle, or sorry, the smaller we can make the angle, the faster that will basically unwind and give us more club head speed. Lee, you know, with an iron.
So, strangely now, when we've now switched to the wedge, what you've just showed us doesn't work at all for you, does it? So do you want to just talk about your hand arc and how your wrist action looks with the wedge there? So certainly it's much wider here, isn't it, wrist cock?
Yeah, I mean, you almost, I'm trying to get the feeling that there's zero wrist cock in that.
And your hand path here isn't really a tight one that goes upwards, it's much shallower, yeah?
No, so it's a much more wider, you know, there's no tight angles like we see with the long drive. You get into that point there, it's a much more, you know, hands out, no wrist angle here, and that kind of continues all the way through the ball on the wedge shots.
And it's now made you not the worst wedge player in the world. It's improving massively.
Yeah, it's not. It's not bad. You know, I'm no longer having to, you know, pitch it on the back of the green to hit the flag on the front of the green. So none of this. Okay, want a bit more, just almost, you know, feeling the arms coming through straight.
I think it's an interesting point that players have different release patterns and different hand arcs, whether they're playing long shots and short shots. Joe, to be honest, is always generally hitting his driver, but he does play, and when he does play, very well, and that's an area of his game that he's worked on a lot. It's not just all long game.
It's not all long drive, not all long drive.